Ok, tomamos refugio. Voy por refugio hasta alcanzar la iluminación al Buda, al Dharma y a la Asamblea Suprema, por los méritos que acumule practicando la generosidad y demás perfecciones, que pueda obtener el estado de Buda para beneficiar a todos los seres. Voy por refugio hasta alcanzar la iluminación al Buda, al Dharma y a la Asamblea Suprema, por los méritos que acumule practicando la generosidad, que pueda obtener el estado de Buda para beneficiar a todos los seres. Voy por refugio hasta alcanzar la iluminación al Buda, al Dharma y a la Asamblea Suprema, por los méritos que acumule practicando la generosidad y demás perfecciones, que pueda obtener el estado de Buda para beneficiar a todos los seres.
Okay. Let's see, we've got about an hour to go. I guess we'll talk a little bit. I'll talk a little bit, and we have time for some questions, and then depending on the questions, we'll meditate a little bit more, okay? And tomorrow we'll work on compassion for others. Today was compassion for self, tomorrow is compassion for others. So, there's a couple of things I thought about. First one, this is just kind of light, but I was reminded by something I told a friend a long time ago about I used to, when I would go for a walk, I would look at people, whoever I saw or an animal or anything, and I would just think, may you be happy. And you should try it sometimes. It actually makes you happy, You just going shopping, you look at the people in the supermarket and you just think, may you be happy, may you be happy, may you be happy, And it's kind of a nice little exercise to do, sort of just thinking about people being happy. So I just thought to share that with you. Before you make your phone call, may you be happy. And the other thing I just want to explain about this method is, I don't know if you'll have to tell me what your experience was, but basically what it is you're just sitting there, breathing, and it's important to do it with the breathing, okay? And you just kind of feel how you feel without changing anything. And if you feel okay, then that's great. Just go on and do your meditation, or meditate on emptiness, or make it more, or, give it to others. But if you're feeling not so good, and you don't even have to really give it discursive thought, it's just like a feeling. Sometimes you just notice you just feel, and you don't really know what it is. Or maybe you just feel really agitated. Or maybe you don't realize it, but you just have a deep sense of insecurity about yourself, or you don't like yourself, or just some, not comfortableness with yourself. And rather than doing anything about that, you just let it be there. And then, so that's one part of your mind, right? And then with another part of your mind, without letting that one go away, if you can do this, you think about some, love, someone that you love, or something that you love. And so you're sitting there with this kind of feeling, And as you breathe in, it just kind of, as you breathe in the love, Well, first you have to generate the love, right? So maybe you have to stop maybe for a minute or a while you're not feeling how you're feeling, but you just sort of think about your kids or, generally you can find somebody that you love in your life, And then you just take that feeling of love without the object. The object is the child or the dog or the person or the husband. I don't know what it is, mother, father. But without thinking of the person, that's an exercise in itself. It's just to let yourself feel love without an object. But you have to bring up the object. But then let yourself feel what it feels like to feel love. And really get familiar with that. That's a practice in itself. And after you get that, then when you go back to how you feel about yourself, when you breathe in, it's like you let that feeling of love penetrate into the core of that, how you feel about yourself. And it just it feels like it's just, what's it like? Like it's just going into it and kind of like infusing it. Like if you were to put, like you have a glass of water and you put ink in it or something, or the way, or you feel like the sunshine coming into it. It's like it's breaking up something that's kind of dense and dark, like light coming into something dense and dark. But it's a warm, loving feeling. You'll just have to play with it yourself, But so what that does is and it slowly, it becomes, the other way you feel about yourself gets less and less, and the other one gets more and more. Until eventually, when you sit down and think about yourself, it can just be that loving one, Until something bad happens. And then you have this feeling again. But if you've practiced this thing, I'm telling the loving one, if you have to practice it. It's not going to happen by itself. It's a habit that you have to make happen. So if you practice that, then when the bad thing happens, in the beginning, you do this, it doesn't really touch it, because the bad thing's so big. But you keep doing it, and eventually you can even sit down with a bad feeling and make the good feeling overcome it. Like it just goes right in the inside of it. Does that make any sense? So this is something that I've done with myself a lot, and because I was telling Veronica, when I was in the middle of my, I don't know how long it was, because it was a long time ago now, but my first long retreat, after a while, I started waking up in the morning, and I didn't really know exactly what the feeling was, but after a while I decided it was a feeling of dread. And I discovered, because when you're by yourself for a long time, everything sort of gets deeper and deeper and deeper, and you're not able to into your superficial person that's walking and talking and doing all your stuff, That's a problem with retreat, because all that stuff goes away, and suddenly you're left with yourself, and you're depressed, because there's nothing to make you happy anymore, because you don't know how to make yourself happy. So you either have to learn to make yourself happy, or you leave the retreat, or you have a horrible retreat, or something, Anyway, so I would wake up in the morning, and I just realized I just felt dread, And then I realized, because I was reading this book that was, it's from the 80s, but it's still a good book. It's called Healing the Shame That Binds You. And it's by a therapist who was very popular in the 80s named John Bradshaw. I don't even know if he's still alive. But I found that book really helpful, because what I didn't realize, because I was a popular girl, I was a good student, I had a lot of friends, I had no reason to not like myself, But I discovered, how old was I? 38 years old when I was in my retreat, that under all that stuff was this just, And I think I just inherited it from my mother, who inherited it from her mother, who inherited it from her mother, who inherited it from her mother, and it just got passed on, when I was like this, And so I had to work. I had to figure out, how to get over that. And of course, the deity practice really helps that. But you have to know what the deity practice is, So that's when I started doing this thing that I'm telling you, And it's based on I mean, it's not, I'm not making it up. I mean, it's Tonlin for yourself, you know. So I just started working with that, and pretty soon when I wake up in the morning, I would just start breathing in this love, you know, and after a little while, like everything was okay. I didn't have this dread feeling anymore. And I mean, I still have to do that because, I mean, I don't wake up every day like that. But if I'm around somebody that has that big time, and, you know, then I'll wake up in the morning and it's there. Because, you know, we influence each other, you know. But now I recognize it, and I can go, oh, there's that, and I breathe, and I'm okay, you know. But I just wanted to, Veronica said you should share that, so I just thought I would remember to share that because I don't think I'm alone in that experience. And maybe it's just the human experience, I don't know. But, you know, maybe like sometimes I'm around kids who are raised by hippies and communes and things, and they don't, you know, they're kind of pretty happy kids, you know. So maybe it, I don't know. I really don't know. But, you know, who has it or who doesn't have it. But I think it's really helpful to spend some time in meditation, you know, loving yourself a little bit every day, you know. Because we all have good things to do. And who needs to have our energy bogged down by that, you know. Because it definitely takes energy to maintain that. It takes energy to pretend it's not there, you know? Yeah. Yeah. So, and like I said before, she said to live well and to have energy to live well. And like I said before, you know, that's what I saw in Lama Yeshe. He didn't have that. You know, he was just like, from the very core out, just happy with who he was, you know? And it didn't mean that he didn't make mistakes and he didn't have regret, but it wasn't the toxic shame that we carry around with us on a big backpack, you know? And maybe it comes from Christianity, you know, original sin. I don't know. It doesn't matter. We don't have to blame anybody. You know, you know, somebody I read somewhere, you know, blaming is just a way to make yourself feel better about feeling bad, you know. So we, you know, it's like the point is not to blame anybody. The point is to get rid of the bad feeling, you know, and love everybody no matter what. So that's all I had left to share. So I'd like to get some feedback or response, or, you know, if it was beneficial or not, you know, because I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm just trying. I don't think I've ever tried to teach this before. So, but anyway, yeah, but you need the microphone. Maybe come get it, you know.
My name is Anna.
Thank
Hello.
you.
I just want to thank you for this wonderful teaching. It touched me from within my heart. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I just wanted to say that.
Yeah. Anybody else?
Yes, well, for me it was very difficult, really. And when you said play the part for yourself, I had to become an actress.
Yes.
And it was very hard for me.
Yeah.
And because I'm not used to loving myself anyways. And I'm ashamed of asking this, but I'm new at Buddhism, and well, what's a guru?
That's a good question.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, guru is a teacher, you know, but it's a teacher that can guide you to enlightenment. So, anybody else want to say what a guru is? So it's a spiritual teacher, but generally when you decide for someone to be your guru, you check up very well. You just not, you know, I mean, you may first of all, it should be someone that you feel some connection to. But then it's important to check their behavior and make sure that they're not a false guru, because there's some people who have a lot of charisma and a lot of style and talk a really good talk, but they're just acting. And so it's good to check the people that are following the guru, because you can tell if they're good people, then you usually know they have a pretty, like for me, the other thing about Lama Yeshe was I loved his students. I felt right at home there. And I think that's another good sign, But what you want is, a real guru to me is someone who's very advanced on the path and has the ability to bring you along on the path. And preferably, you want a guru who is clairvoyant. You wish for who can see your particular situation and say, this is what is good for you, because otherwise it's difficult to take their, because the guru is someone that you want to receive advice from. And the guru, it says, in our teachings, the guru teaches in 3 ways, They give you, in our case, we have tantric empowerments here where we get initiations into different practices that take us along the path, and they give us regular teachings, and they give us personal advice. So, I forgot what I was going to say. No, it was before that. But anyway, it'll come to me. What I was going to say about the guru is, I can't remember now. Oh well, it'll come back. We'll go back to guru, but no, it's about the advice thing. It's about advice, getting advice from gurus. You want to? Oh, now I remember what it is. The thing about guru is that you want to have a healthy relationship with the guru, so you need to be able to talk to them, and you need to be able to, if they give you some advice and it just doesn't feel right for you, you need to be able to say, that doesn't feel right to me. And the other thing that you want to make sure is that the role of the guru is like, a guru isn't there because they want to have power over you. So if you're around a guru and they're like, you feel like they want to, tell you what to do or whatever, it's not like that. The guru is there to empower you. The point is that the guru wants you to find your true nature, your Buddha nature, and grow it. And what they're there for is to mirror your best self back to you, so that you can become to identify with your best self, the best part of you, and nurture the part of you that is wounded, so that then you can grow into being a better person and have more compassion and more love and more wisdom and more skill in dealing with other people. And you can be around a teacher for quite some time before you ask, will you be my teacher? Because when they do that, they actually take you on as they become your mentor on your spiritual life. And if further down the road you realize that I made a mistake, then it's okay to let it go. But you should never disparage the guru or think bad thoughts, even if they turn out to be a charlatan. You still have to, it's important to know that they gave you some special gifts and that you're always going to respect them. Even if you decide that, sorry, this isn't the right path for me. It's okay to turn and go do something else. Does that help? So if you want a guru, they say the best thing to do is start praying. I need a guru, please, And the thing about the first thing you said, I really appreciate that you said that, because it's really difficult to feel love for yourself in the beginning, and we do have to act. That's why I said do it, You do have to pretend, because after a while it will be real. And the thing about the guru that's really great about having a guru is that the reason we did all that stuff at the beginning about coming from the guru is that I don't actually know how exactly it works, but you do get blessings from gurus. They do help you so that you're no longer acting. It's almost like they can share a little bit of their enlightenment with you when you are sincerely requested. And it's just, all I can figure out is it's just something on like a subtle energy level, that there's some kind of subtle energy. Like when we visualize light going out to all the beings and stuff, well, there's some reality to that. And so the lamas, we call them lamas, that's in the Tibetan word. In Sanskrit it's guru, in Tibetan it's lama, so we say lama. And lama means someone who's heavy in virtue. So they're like super, virtuous, meritorious beings. So when they see the light rays going out and stuff, it's like if we tap into that, we actually, it's really doing something. Not that we aren't doing something. Every time that we visualize, like the whole Reiki thing, light rays going, it does. It's just that the more merit you have, the more heavy in virtue you are, the more dense is that energy field going out. And so when we tap into the Guru and we take refuge, it's like we really tap into this source of spiritual power that then we can internalize and then give out to others. So it's really a nice kind of interconnectedness, and they say that, thoughts travel, and it doesn't matter if the Guru is in India or wherever the Guru is, because in our thoughts, it doesn't need time or space, right? So that's what the Guru is about. Yeah, good luck. And what's your name? Edie Selma? Edie Selma, okay. So this is our new friend here. She's new, so. Yeah.
So if you don't have a guru, who do you imagine when you're doing those meditations?
That's a good point. You can just see a person, and you can, if you wanted to, if you feel something for like Jesus, you could use, but Buddha is the one to use for us, basically. You just visualize Buddha, and then see all the light rays, all the stuff coming from Buddha, because Buddha still exists. I mean, Buddha is an enlightened presence in our world. And if you really would like to have a guru, then part of what you can do in that meditation is requesting, please meet my guru. But I would just use Buddha and know that Buddha is an enlightened being, and that the experience, the blessing can come from Buddha. If that's comfortable. This Buddha. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah? You need the microphone. He has to hear you. Yeah, if it's not a long question.
I got initiated by the Rinpoche brothers about 25 years ago.
The ones that the Padma
And,
Sambhava Center. Yeah.
They said, my name is Paduka Dansa. And I asked Jose, what's it mean? The one who gives what he has. I don't know how people can live in fear. My mother taught me, the same one that made all this wonderful stuff made you. Why you fear? He's going to protect you.
Wait,
Why people live in fear?
Why do people live in fear?
Yes.
That's your question?
Yeah, because my mother used to tell me, the same one that made all these wonderful things made you. He's going to protect you. And I don't know a lot of crazy things. I'm still here. Even when I was born, they said, I'm going to make it.
Yeah.
And they were wrong. I don't believe in that, but why people cannot have more faith and live a happier life?
Because you are just blessed to have that experience. But a lot of people just don't have it. And in Buddhism and in Hinduism we call it karma. They don't have the karma, they don't have it within them to have faith. You are very fortunate, in past lives you created the cause to have faith, to have no fear. But many people just are not born that way. And it's just a fact of life. They are born in fear. They have fear.
Thank you.
That was easy. So rejoice, hey, that you are so fortunate. It's good to rejoice in your good fortune that that you are blessed to be without fear. Yeah. Anybody else? See.
Hi, my name is Anna, and it's also my first time here, so I thank you.
Yeah. This isn't your typical, afternoon here. I don't think. I don't know actually.
But I wanted to address something you said about the guru. A couple of things. One is that I'm grateful actually to have had the experience of following a false guru for a very long time, and then seeing, and leaving very cleanly, and now to have the blessing of a real guru in my life. And so what I wanted to say about my experience of what a real guru is, besides everything that you said, which
we're
so
always
perfect.
Open to, I'm not the only person who can talk here,
No, but I mean, everything you said, one can hardly add anything to it. But I did want to say about false gurus that the false guru that I followed had the most beautiful, wonderful, loving, sweet people around him.
Oh, okay.
So that's not always a
thank
sign.
You.
Yes, many of them are my dear brothers and sisters still.
Yeah.
Many of them left, also realizing what had happened. I was really seduced by the loveliness, the beauty, the intelligence, the talent.
Because they were all being seduced by him too.
Yeah. But in my experience, a real guru, like I said, besides everything you already mentioned, is someone who loves the student unconditionally.
Exactly. Oh, I left that out. That's the most important part.
And is totally committed. Totally, the generosity of a real guru is very unusual, actually. I don't think we find that in our everyday life. That kind of commitment, complete dedication, generosity to the student.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for adding that. Because the unconditional love of the guru is the most important part, because that's how we learn to develop unconditional love for ourselves and unconditional love for others, by actually seeing that it exists and feeling it. And the thing that, I think I said this before, that the most important part when we're doing the refuge is to feel the unconditional love of the guru. Even, really feel it and know it. That, I think I said this last week, remember, that when Samden said, "Oh, always keep me in your heart," and he said, you keep me in your heart. Always keep the guru in your heart, because the guru loves you, and that's what allows you to love yourself. It's like they say, they say that, once just even one person has loved you unconditionally, just to know that, then you're able to give that, And I mean, maybe we can even just imagine that, what that's like, and I think we can begin to develop it, So what does that mean? It means no matter what they do, you're going to love that person. You can still love that person. It doesn't mean that you might have trouble sometimes with people. And like I said, you can hate their delusions, but you never give up loving that person. You never give up on anybody. Deep inside, never give up, because everybody has the capacity to change, and everybody has the capacity to get better. They're just really messed up. And I think it was actually Geshe Soka who said that. You can hate the delusions, but not the person. And that's a really important thing to make, especially when someone's really harming you. You feel like and so you can sit there and do it, think about the harm that you're feeling first, this person's harming me, and give yourself love, and then realize that the only reason they're harming you, this is really important, I think I said it the first night, the only reason they're harming you is because their needs are not being met. And if you can connect with the fact that somebody has needs. That allows you to open up to the vulnerability in that person, which allows you then to have compassion for that person. But unless you can turn it around, as long as you're looking, this person's harming me, and even hating the delusions doesn't help. But for me, and I learned this from Marshall Rosenberg, the nonviolent communication teacher, his whole thing is about finding out what your needs are, what that other person's needs are, because if someone's hating you, it's because you aren't satisfying their need, and maybe you can never satisfy their need, but at least you can understand that the reason they're acting out like that is because they are needy, and we can have compassion for people's needs. We can't have compassion for people's violence, because it hurts, but we can definitely see that. Because you can almost see the little child in there that doesn't know how to get what they want. And so, you know how children, if they don't get what they want by being good, they get what they want by being bad. Right? So we do the same as adults. And so if you can turn it around that way, we can always find a way to love somebody if you put the right framework on it. If you put it in the right, reframe the situation, they say that. Now that's a big jargon, reframe the situation, And I find, to me, I like that better than thought training, that in the 7 verses that we all know, how this person, treats me badly, and I will accept the defeat and offer the victory to others. That is so hard to do, But if you can hook into the fact that, look at their injured child or their need, then I can offer the victory, because it's like, oh God, this person's hurting more than me. And when it's a really bad situation, you might go back and forth. Sometimes it's like, your self-cherishing mind is like winning. Your neediness is more needy than the need to look at their needs. So that happens. But then, you can come back. You can. But another thing is, when you're going through a really hard time and someone's giving you a really bad time, you need to take time, more time than usual, for yourself. You need to sleep more. You need to, eat well. You need to play more, because when you're going through a bad time, it takes so much energy. And what I found, I'm just talking from my experience, when I can't, have the compassion to hook into somebody's needs and I'm just full of, it's because I'm exhausted. Because we're just like little kids, when we're exhausted, how 3-year-olds, and they're exhausted, they get really out of it until you can get them to go to sleep. Well, we're really not any different. And so it's like when my capacity to have compassion is lost, it's because I'm tired. So and I know it's hard in this day and age, and sometimes resting is going to a movie. Sometimes, it's whatever. You just have to, because, we have, in Buddhism we have this thing called in Mahayana Buddhism called the 6 perfections. And one of them is joyous perseverance. And if you read Shantideva, he divides it in 4 parts, and one of the parts is rest. We always forget about that, because it's almost like resting is a dirty word in our culture, It's like you're shamed if you need to rest. You feel ashamed of yourself if you have to sleep in the morning. Oh God, I better drink some coffee and go out and run around the block because I'm not, and I think it's just, United States, American culture is like that's, I don't see that even in Europe so much, So it's really a big, this is part of like becoming a good Dharma practitioner, is knowing that it's okay to rest and it's okay to let other people rest, you know? Because, you know, or like, I mean, who's not ashamed of resting, you know? I mean, some people aren't. They want to spend all the time, you know, watching football and drinking beer, you know, but maybe they need that, you know? Yeah. Anybody else? No? You don't have anything to say? He has a question.
I've heard you on several occasions talk about while taking care of ourselves, we need to eat strong food.
Yeah.
What is your definition of a healthy diet of strong foods?
Oh, that's a good question.
Let me go back.
Okay. Oh, yeah. His question was, he's heard me on several occasions say that, you know, to be a good meditator, Dharma practitioner, you need to eat strong foods, healthy foods. So he wants to know what I think is healthy foods. Now, what I'm going to say is that's different for everyone. And what I would recommend is to go to an Ayurvedic doctor or a Chinese doctor and get your pulses felt and find out what foods nourish you. And don't be a food Nazi, because some people are really good. Some people can eat vegetarian and some people can't. Some people can eat some sugar and some people can't eat any sugar. But basically, you know, a healthy diet is stay away from junk food, stay away from processed food, you know, stay away from white flour and white sugar and white pasta and white bread, and basically eat whole foods and, you know, fresh vegetables and fresh fruits and none of this packaged crap that came in our lives in the 1950s when they started putting chemicals in all of our food. Stay away from read the labels, you know. If there's a word longer than about, you know, 10 letters, 8, don't get it. You know? And if you can, you know, I know it's harder here in Puerto Rico. One of the things is try to eat organic food. It's probably really expensive here. I don't know, you know, I mean, you know, somebody should start an organic farm in Puerto Rico, you know. Because pesticides are really bad for you. So wash your food. You know, wash your fruits and vegetables, you know, and like that. And because everybody, I mean, basically, you know, like raw foods are bad for some people and good for other people, and, you know, meat's good for some people. So you need to experiment. And another thing that's really helpful to find out is if you have food allergies. Because you can eat, it's usually foods you crave you're allergic to. The ones that you like the best, you know. So a lot of people are allergic. Now we have this big thing about gluten, you know. I mean, and some people are allergic to corn, some sugar, you know. But if you suspect that you are allergic to food, there's a way to find out, which is, say you think you might be allergic to corn or something. You know, you can tell when you eat something if you don't feel very good from it, you know. And the thing about the reason why corn is an important one to find out is because if you eat processed foods, there's corn syrup in almost everything now. But what you do is, say you want to just find out the basic ones that you might be like. Most people, there's what? Soy or wheat or corn or sugar or dairy products. A lot of people are allergic to dairy products. So what you do is you don't eat that food at all for 2 weeks. And you have to read labels to make sure there's not a little bit of it in your food. Because sometimes there's wheat and corn, a lot of stuff. And then after your 2 weeks is over, you eat a lot of that food, like 3 times a day. And not a lot, but just make sure you eat it 3 times a day for a couple of days and see how you feel. And if you feel terrible, then then you know you're allergic to it. Yeah. Well, people who have really bad allergies, I think they already know, you know. So that's kind of a good, and then a lot of times if you just stop eating that food for a year, you can go back and reintroduce it into your diet and it's okay. So, yes, Chila. Yeah. Oh, and one other thing, drink a lot of good water. It's really important to drink water.
And cook your food.
Yeah, and cook your
Don't
food.
buy food outside.
Yeah.
Cook your own food.
Yeah.
Because that's a relationship with the love we have for
Yeah.
ourselves. We want good things for us, we prepare them. Don't go to...
Yeah, don't eat out a lot.
You don't know what people put in the food.
That's true.
Well, you know what I put in my food. Well, cook. Learn how to cook.
And unless you have a restaurant, then we'll eat there. And we hope you and Anna have a restaurant.
I will teach them how to cook.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't speak English.
That's
but,
okay.
es difícil. Yo tengo una nena de 9 años y o sea, es súper difícil tener amistades de edades o sea, las nenas de edad similar y alimentarse bien, ¿verdad? Que vamos a sitios a comer. ¿Le traduces o...? Ajá.
She can't eat at other people's houses.
Se me hace una lucha, pero yo no desisto. Desde bebé, desde que ella es bebé, o sea, yo nunca he ido a Burger King ni McDonald's, nunca en mi vida. Ella sí, porque ella con su papá, ¿sabe? Va mucho. Pero yo no desisto en eso y ella lo único que come en casa son frutas y todo preparado por mí, orgánico. La gente dice que sale más costoso, quizás sí, pero si tú compras muchos granos, ¿verdad? Granos que estos que vienen en la máquina que, en Fresh Mart, no los empacados, sino... Si compras granos, que los pesa, frutas, y vas a la placita del mercado, ya tienes el alimento, o sea, para toda la semana y lo cocinas. Solo
So
es...
what's the question?
No, ¿cómo uno hace para no, a veces siento que en esta sociedad nos miran como, las personas que comemos así, estamos así, como que te rechazan un poco. Y en el colegio, a la nena se burlan porque en su bolsita tiene dátiles, nueces. Entonces me dice, mami, no pongas más eso porque se burlan de mí y mis amigas.
Oh boy, that's a hard one.
Es una sociedad difícil vivir.
Yeah, but she's not well when she eats other food, right?
Sí, en la casa lo come, pero ella se avergüenza de que no. Sí, ella come de todo. O sea, eso tú le das
No. But does she have? But I thought I understood at the beginning that the girl isn't so well when she eats other food. Oh.
Ella no es vegetariana porque el papá no es y tiene que, o sea, nosotros estamos separados y ella.
And she's 9 years old.
¿Ah?
She's 9 years old.
9
And
años.
okay, let me get this right. She's 9 years old, and she feels weird because she eats healthy food and nobody else does. Yeah, at school. Well, you know.
Sorry.
Oh. You know, when you get to be that age, it's kind of more important to not be weird. So maybe you could give her some normal food and some healthy food, just so she feels not so strange. Because what will happen if you continue to make her eat the healthy food, she won't like you, and she won't like the food. And you gave her healthy food until she was 9, right? But now she's becoming a teenager, and 10, you really change at 10. And it's very important, it's more important to be liked by your friends. And she probably doesn't eat that bad of food. So if I were you, I would let her eat more, I mean, maybe not Burger King, but sometimes Burger King. It's not going to kill her. She's not trying to be a meditator. She's just trying to be a 10-year-old girl. I'm talking about for people who are serious, So I think, we can debate this, this is just there's more mothers here than me, but I think, Chela, you agree with me, right? I think it's more important for her to be psychologically healthy right now than to be physically healthy, because I think she's going to be physically healthy anyway. That's why I want to know, is she well enough to eat normal food? And you, by giving her that example, she'll know herself that she feels better when she eats healthy food. But you don't want to make a divide between you and your daughter, particularly at 9 years old, because it'll make it worse when she's a teenager, and then she'll just eat Burger King all the time. So if I were you, I would take a middle path. Give her some raisins and some fruit, but also a normal sandwich or something. All the mothers agree? Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's okay. Veronica can tell me later. Yeah. Yeah. That's okay. You can tell me after. But I thought of a few more things about food. Good fats is really important. Don't eat the trans fats. Eat olive oil and coconut oil. And, fat is not a bad thing, too. We have this thing, people went on this rampage about not eating fat and cholesterol, but that's a mistake, Fat doesn't make you fat. What makes you fat is calories. So if you get enough, not fried foods are not good for you either. Try to avoid fried foods. A little bit's okay. It's delicious, but not all the time. And so the main thing is make sure you get enough good oils every day, because then you're more satisfied and you eat less. You weigh less if you eat more oil than because when you don't get enough fat, you're hungry, and then you eat more calories. But if you have and butter is good for you. Butter's not bad for you, And so if you have good oil on your salad, or then I think that's really important to eat good oils. And then the other thing, sesame, tahini is very, very good for you for all kinds of things. So eat sesame tahini. And the other thing is chocolate. Not chocolate with sugar, but I was thinking even before I came here, there's a recipe in the Tricycle magazine for chocolate without sugar that you can make yourself. And Samden has been doing it for years. And it's really easy. You just take coconut oil and honey or agave and unsweetened chocolate powder, and you make your own chocolate. Or you can make your own chocolate drinks. by putting, chocolate and honey. You don't have to get the chocolate that always has the sugar in it, because sugar is really bad for you. But chocolate is full of antioxidants. It makes you happy, and, so there's, enjoy. Yeah, it's good for your heart. So, chocolate is a healthy food, But not when it's got the sugar in it. So that's the thing, So, healthy foods. Anybody else? Good healthy foods? Fruits, papayas, You. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, if you fry food, use coconut oil. Yeah. So, okay. If anything more, we might meditate a little bit more. So, anybody question? Any more question? I want to answer all the questions. Ireda.
Volviendo al tema anterior, estas personas, estos seres que son egocéntricos, ¿podemos decir que se aman?
Yeah? No, the reason they're egocentric is because they don't love themselves. So they're compensating for it by being super, they call it aggrandizing themselves, making themselves grand. But they might think they really love each other, but deep inside is someone that doesn't. Inside a proud and a mean shell is a frightened little person. And that's why we have so much problem in the world today, because there are all these proud, mean people who think they have to, build up. If I have 20 yachts and 5 Lear jets, maybe I'll be happy. So, the ego people, they're just like other sick people. They're just trying to get their needs met by pumping themselves up rather than being honest and healing the inner child. So yeah. Wait. You need the. No. But he.
It's just associative. I watched a wonderful documentary yesterday called Happy.
Oh.
I don't know if you've seen it.
No.
But it's on Netflix, and
Yeah.
it's beautiful. And
Okay.
really, it's about that, what makes people happy.
Yeah.
And they show families in Calcutta who have nothing,
Yeah.
and they are so happy.
Yeah.
And
It's not about stuff. I mean, Mother Teresa said that the most unhappy people in the world are in the United States. The people who have the most are the most unhappy people in the world. Can she, because their souls are empty. She thought New York City was the most unhappy place she'd ever been. Yeah. So, okay. We'll just sit for maybe 15 minutes, and I'm not going to do the whole long thing. I just want us to sit and do some breathing meditation, and anyway, we're going to be breathing love into ourselves, okay? It's like, let your little light shine, right? So this time we're just going to take refuge without words. Just feeling refuge in your heart. Feel the blessings of the lamas and the Buddhas pouring into you. And make the request, may I become a healthy human being so that I can help others and attain enlightenment for all sentient beings. begin by tuning into the breath, feeling it. I'm not going to lead through the whole meditation, but feeling it throughout your body. If your mind is kind of agitated from all the talk, then when you breathe in, bring your awareness down to the base of the spine, and as you exhale, imagine that the energy goes down into the center of the earth. And you can do that for a few minutes, or a few seconds. Or if you're drowsy, when you breathe in, experience kind of a bright light at the crown of your head. And if you're neither, then just breathe into your body and watch the breath going in, breath going out. We can feel the blessings of the lamas purifying first with the white nectars, rays, ourselves and all sentient beings. Allow ourselves to feel the love of the Guru, love of the Lama, even if we just imagine it. And the yellow nectars and rays. bringing us all the realizations of the path to enlightenment. And then bringing the blessings, the Lama, the love, this pure unconditional love that's also in the nature of emptiness, becomes very, very small, enters the crown of our head. Rests in the middle of our heart. We allow ourselves to feel safe, protected, loved, cared for, no matter what. Just as we are. Then we're going to take a moment just to check in with ourselves. Psychologically, how we feel about me. And if I'm feeling okay, that's great. But maybe think of a time when you were a part of yourself that isn't okay, whatever that means to you. Or maybe better yet, just however you are right in this moment. Just be there with that. And now, as we begin to breathe in and out, it's like we imagine that sense of self is right in the center of our chest, of our heart. And if you want to, you can visualize a time in your life when you were very unhappy, or you don't have to do that. You can just sit also and just how you feel now. You don't have to see anything. You just have to feel your sense of self at the center of your heart. And as you breathe in, you're going to remember a time when you could feel love or something that you love. And just allow yourself to experience that love and wishing yourself to be happy. It could be coming from the Lama, it could be coming from Mother, could be coming. But what we're seeking to do is to dissociate it from an actual person and just allow ourselves to feel a non-objectified love or non-objectifying compassion, but just that sense of care and love and concern that's warm. And as we breathe in, we're going to breathe in the love and allow it to permeate that sense of self that's in the center of our chest. And as we breathe out, we're going again allow ourselves to feel that sense of love. you feel comfortable, you can think, I'm breathing in love, and that fills up me with this feeling of contentment and satisfaction, love, acceptance, forgiveness. And as you breathe out, you can either allow that to become more strong, or you can give that out to all sentient beings, whichever is more comfortable for you. If your mind's really busy and you need some words to work with, I like Thich Nhat Hanh's words. We did this before. I breathe in, I feel love. I breathe out, I feel safe. have to close the meditation, so our time's up. And I encourage you to practice this some, and you can change it how it works for you. And we should read the dedication, I think.
Dedicamos que por los méritos de esta virtud pueda alcanzar rápidamente el estado de un Guru Buda y pueda llevar a este estado a todo ser sin excepción. La mente de iluminación es suprema y muy preciada, que donde no ha surgido surja, que donde ha surgido no disminuya, que cobre cada vez más fuerza. La visión correcta del vacío es suprema y muy preciada, que donde no ha surgido surja, que donde ha surgido no disminuya, que cobre cada vez más fuerza. Así como el valiente Nyingje y Samantabhadra distinguieron los fenómenos tal cual son, yo también dedico estos méritos en la mejor forma, siguiendo su ejemplo perfecto. Dedico todas estas raíces de virtud con la dedicación que es considerada la mejor por los victoriosos asidos de los 3 tiempos para poder realizar todas las buenas obras. Dedicamos ahora la oración de larga vida a nuestro maestro Yansi Rinpoche, recordando a todos los maestros que enseñan el Dharma a través del mundo. Madre Tare, liberando del samsara. Tú Tare, liberando de los 8 temores. Tara, Madre que libera, por favor otorga el don de la longevidad. Por las bendiciones de los gurús raíces del linaje, por los logros espirituales de los Yidam, dioses y diosas, por los métodos hábiles de las Dakinis y los protectores del Dharma, que podamos realizar gozosamente la esencia de nuestras esperanzas. Gendun Tenzin, eres afable, benevolente y bondadoso. Por favor, permanece con nosotros durante una larga vida. Expande tus actividades iluminadas en todas las direcciones y continúa madurando y sustentándonos a mí y a todos los seres sintientes. Desde este momento y durante todas nuestras vidas, manténnos bajo tu tutela. Sé nuestro amigo, nuestro divino y virtuoso guía. Limpia la degeneración de la ignorancia. Ayúdanos a realizar rápidamente nuestro recorrido por los senderos y caminos y alcanzar los 3 cuerpos de un Buda, por la verdad de la realidad incambiable y por la bendición conjunta de la indestructible Sangha, que la esencia de estas oraciones se logre rápidamente.
So we seal the dedication with emptiness. I'm rejoicing that we have this opportunity to meet with these precious teachings and make them alive in our hearts and minds and share them with others. And I really encourage you, even if you just do this 5 minutes a day, you know, on the bus, in the car, just remember, you know, just give yourself some love. It's not illegal. It's the cheapest way to be happy. So thank you, and I hope there was some benefit.